What's up, guys? Chasing Lonely Hook. That's number 24 of our Williams revival on F1 Manager 22. And we're picking up right where we left off in the last episode with this F1 in Schools invitation, which of course we're going to attend because why would you not? And we'll go and see what's going on between races. Sporting regulations changes. The majority voted against the changes. I'm not sure what the changes were, if I'm honest. I don't remember. But either way, no changes, which is good, because that means we can carry on developing the way we were going. So let's carry on forward and let's see what we can do to get better cars. And side pods coming in is certainly a good start to getting better cars. We've got 10 days to get them built, so we should do that straight away, because the faster the car is, the better. That's just science. Okay, so let's have a look, and we can get a few of those done. If we rush it, I'm sure. Actually can't. Okay, that's fine. What we'll do is we'll emergency 2, because that just gives us enough to keep going with. And then we'll manufacture another few on rushed, just to make sure we have the safety parts, because you never know with our drivers when they're going to stick something into a wall, which is often. Okay, so we need to get the car faster, and faster is going to be a key part of what we're doing. So we've got new side pods to make us faster. Let's go with a rear wing, maybe. What are we not iterating on recently? We've done quite well with the development so far. Okay, so we're going to go for another 1.5 hours of CFD, and we'll go with another 20 hours in the wind tunnel. That's always a strong way to start off. And then we're going to go for high-speed performance, because, frankly, I think we need to be faster. Being faster has served us quite well so far, so we'll keep that up. That's what we'll go for. Right, so I want to worry about airflow sensitivity is not a thing that's going to massively affect us, so we'll go with that. Do I need the DRS delta to be faster? Not immediately. I do need to keep that lower speed going, though, so that could be interesting. We'll go there, because that gives us the most everything out of this. We are just looking for top speed, really, but I don't want to lose any low speed, because we're so bad at low speed. I don't want to take any risks. We'll stick 3 engineers on it, and we will go intensive, so we keep learning things to develop the car. That's going to come in after the summer break, which is going to be a bit of fun for us to contend with. Let's make sure we've got all our best parts on the car before we go in as well. We know we've got new side pods, so we'll stick new side pods on both vehicles. That's a good win for us, and we should have a fast enough car to be able to make a difference. We're now at 7th and 9th in top speed, which is great. That's going to keep us in the points, hopefully. And we're going to get a message saying our side pods have been designed. But that's not what's really important here. What's really important here is we get to the race in one piece. We finished scouting Sebastian Vettel. I can't remember why I was scouting Sebastian. He's on a hugely long contract with Alpha Tauri. They've clearly decided they want to be a big team. And finally, that's nice for them. Let's have a look at Sergio Perez, though, because he's going to be a driver we think about in the future, I'm sure. And he's doing okay. Right, let's have a look at some more scouting drivers, because after the last race, we missed the last race, it didn't go perfectly to plan. It went better than we thought it would, but it didn't go perfectly to plan. Théo Pourchaire is still very much on the chopping block in terms of just not being able to deliver what I need him to. Let's see who is going to be interested in negotiations, because we're looking near future rather than long-term future. I do still think Valtteri is the best bet, but let's have a look at Esteban Ocon, because it can't hurt to see what his contract is doing. And we'll have a look at Pierre Gasly, because it also can't hurt to see what his contract is doing, given that he is a former race winner. They're both former race winners, in fact, and we need more people in our team that have won stuff. That's just how winning goes. Right, so sponsorship obligations coming in. That's all good. That's all gravy. Looking fine. Facility refurbishment going to be completed on the boardroom, which will bring in more money. Do we have any more refurbishment? We've got a lot of refurbishment we need to do. Let's be honest. That's been neglected a little bit. I haven't done anything with our CFD simulator. What do we need to spend to get that made better? 10 million. I don't even know if we can find 10 million at the moment. Our Team Hub, we're currently refurbing. Ops facilities we're doing okay at. Well, I suspect that weather centre is going to need work before the end of the season, so that'll be fine. Right, we are almost at the French Grand Prix, ready for the practice sessions, which is good times for everyone. And hopefully we'll get a good performance there. Let's have a look at the race prep just to see where we're at. And let's have a look at the cars for the circuit. We should have done this while we were looking at the cars earlier. And we didn't. Car analysis for Paul Ricard. We are 7th and 5th. Okay. Points could be big this week, which is good. We do need the big points, so we'll go with that. Let's have a look at the performance targets. Guarantee a slot in Q3 and in Q2. I don't want to guarantee both our drivers in Q2, but I'm not going to guarantee both our drivers in Q3 because I know we'll find a way to mess that up. Finish position. I'm going to go with a driver in the points. That's what I'm going to promise today. A driver in the points. That's the best I can offer you, I'm afraid. So, we're going to go for a driver in the points. I'm going to go away and we're going to do the qualifying thing. And we'll come back after Q3. See you in a second. So, some things are as predictable as night and day. And predictably, this idiot forgot to change the engines after qualifying. So, we've got it in Q1, which is a good time for all involved. So, we'll zoom forward to Q3 and we'll see what the actual qualifying grid looks like. For that, we are waiting on the results. Let's skip that because that's just not interesting to any of us. And see what we can do with the grid. Let's have a little look actually to see what we missed with the qualifying results. Q3 was there. Good stuff, right? Leclerc takes pole. Sainz, Perez, Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell, Alonso, Bottas, Vettel, and Gasly in the top 10. Norris, Ocon, Stroll, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Tsunoda, then Porsche and Piastri, Show, and Albon. So, you know, not the worst. Right, let's put the actual real engines in the car so we can pretend we're doing a good job. We're not going to buy an engine today because we've got some that are pretty good in the locker. So we'll just go with the best of what we have. From there, because we've bought so many engines this season, we probably don't actually need one to the end of the season. We're just buying them to get a little bit of a competitive advantage every so often, I think, is what's actually happening. So, car setup-wise, I'm not super confident in this setup, but we're going to go with it because I think that's going to be okay. Fuel-wise, it's quite a low fuel track, this, so we're not going to go too heavy on the fuel. I think we're going to go for 3 extra laps because there's always a safety car as well. Always a safety car in France, just a thing that always seems to happen. We'll add 3 laps there as well, just to make sure we've done that and add the fuel usage and the overtake to all of that. Make sure we've put a real working engine in the car because that engine wouldn't get to the end even if our lives depend on it. What have we got in terms of engines here? A 90% engine there is probably good enough. That will get us to the end and keep us a bit competitive. We'll see what the best gearbox and the RS we can do is as well, because you know any advantage we can get here really is going to be for the best. 87 and 90 there, and 18. The 8th gearbox in then. Problem solved. Good stuff. We have a working car. Right, let's look at some strategies because I am going to want to get to the end of this race as fast as humanly possible, as is how F1 works. For those who might be new. Right, so we're going to go, we'll try that. I just want to see, is it faster to do a 2-stop? And if it's faster to do a 2-stop, can we make that work for us? That's a good question. I want to start on mediums anyway, because I feel like that's going to have obvious advantages. Get ourselves some track positions should something happen. Let's just get that to the best it can be and then see what we can do with stints. There's nothing to be gained there. I guess we could extend the stints as far as possible to get ourselves like a super quick end to the race. That could work maybe. It's not really a faster strategy anyway, so we'll just go with a good old-fashioned mediums to hards so we don't lose track position unnecessarily. And we'll go alternative strategy for Porsche. We'll go mediums to hards for both, purely because that's how smart people do the driving stuff. Right, that should be the strategy we need to get ourselves to the end. Hopefully we'll be fine with this. I do think we are going to make our way through the field a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Now we should have good weather for the race, and that will be welcome news for the teams. Looking now at the Williams. They're starting in the bottom half of the grid today, so there's a lot of cars between them and the podium. And looking at the second Williams car, with their starting position in the back 10, they'll have their work cut out for them. Everything's been building to this. And here we go with the French Grand Prix. And it slides out, and away we go.
And so we are underway, and a few cars have dropped behind us due to grid penalties, including the two Alfa Romeos, which is going to be very, very key. Teo Pourchaire already gaining a position and looking racy, which is another thing we like to see because we don't want to have to go to the expense of replacing him. But I am very aware that Valtteri Bottas is going to appear with us very, very soon. We've got Sonoda on our outside here. We should get him through this corner, hopefully, to maintain 14th. It's going to be very tight for these first few corners. Sonoda getting credit for an overtake, really, but it's not. It's wheel-to-wheel combat. He has made it stick now, but we should be able to get past him in the very near future. We do have a faster car, so that's not something I'm super concerned about. The faster car should pay off. We've got a heavier car, of course, because we have overfueled slightly. As Pourchaire gets overtaken by Piastri, teammates going to battle. We don't want to touch, but we'll let them try and get each other motivated. We'll say motivated to go faster. We do need to get through this, though, so someone has to give. It's going to be Piastri giving way because Pourchaire had the better line, the better view. Wasn't boxed in, goes around this corner. I love driving this corner on the other F1 game. It's a beautiful corner. Feels much, much faster when you're in control of the car than just on board. And Pourchaire makes 14th stick finally and gets onto the back of Kevin Magnussen. Piastri has to do some work now to get himself past Sonoda because the Haas cars are just fast enough to be a pain, but they are not fast enough to hold us back the entire race. So we just have to get through them as fast as possible. Let's look at the tyre situation. We have Magnussen and the Haas on hards, so we should have better traction, should get past him here, and we're going to. Ocon, Vettel and Sainz up ahead, also on hards. So some people trying the long sting, which is not going to pay off if there's a safety car, it's got to be said. But, you know, for now, we'll just hope for the best, and we're going to make our way past Daniel Ricciardo. Some good overtaking from Teo Pourchaire, getting the job done as fast as he can. Piastri needs to get a wriggle on here, because Pourchaire is going to leave him behind and get himself into the points very, very quickly at this rate. And Lance Stroll next up, which is always not a challenge, usually. There's lots of qualifiers in that sentence. Basically, once we go to DRS, we should be fine to get ourselves into the points. A couple of cars on hards ahead of us, and a lot of the cars ahead of us aren't actually faster than us, so we should be looking at a good result here as long as the boys can keep it on the black stuff. As Pourchaire goes looking at the back of Stroll, is he going to get back closer to him? He's going for the overtake button, which is always a good idea. Are we going to use the overtake button and get past? Let's use the interval screen so I can keep an eye on what Piastri is doing. So Piastri is making a pass now on Sonoda, and hopefully we'll get very quickly behind and past Magnussen and get himself on the way back up to his teammate. Our engineer very happy with that overtake as well, but we'll keep going and try and get a pass on K-Mag as well. We're going to try the old switch back on him. Going around the outside for this corner may not be the wisest thing we've ever done, but it looks like we've made it stick. Not quite. We should get it in this corner though. Should make it stick thoroughly coming out of the final turn. Get the power down. Leave Magnussen behind. And Piastri is away. DRS is open. Past Ricciardo as well. We're on to the back of Teo Pourchaire again. And now both of our drivers on the attack, looking to get themselves deep into the points very quickly. Vettel getting dropped very fast as well. So we do need to get past these guys, past Vettel as fast as we can. He is just a bit of a human chicane right now. We need to get past him, and then we can start catching up to Alonso and the lead pack before DRS just makes that unassailable, and we have to strat our way back into it. Keep going though. We're going to keep with the pushing. DRS open. Hopefully there's a pass. We would get past Vettel, it feels like at this point. Which, you know, Sebastian Vettel's not exactly going to be easy to pass. He is a 4-time world champion for a reason. So there's that. I'll just check my maths there, but he is a 4-time world champion. I've not just made that up. My brain tonight is not doing well. Okay, Porsche though, looking for a pass on Lance Stroll. Finally going up the inside, should make it stick through the next turn. You would hope. Should have the power to get there. Does have the power to get there. He's on the back of Ocon. And will we get straight past Ocon as well? We should get past him fairly quickly, you'd hope. Purely because Ocon's car not that much faster than us. We've run out of overtake mode though. That's not going to help. So we have to go to neutral on both drivers and just let them rebuild their battery, use it as they see fit. But it should be okay. We've got DRS opening, which will keep us in this fight. In fact, there is part of me just thinking, should I just go full harvest whilst we're in DRS? I mean, we're not getting close enough in DRS. We'll wait till we're getting on the back of them in DRS, and then we'll go into a full harvest mode, because we shouldn't take long to catch up. Hopefully, we shouldn't get dropped at least, and we'll be able to carry on our merry way. Good DRS pickup through the pickup through these corners as well, which is always helpful. And we should be good coming out of this corner, back into that fight for DRS as well, and Norris at least has made his way past Seb, which means we can start working together to get ourselves back towards Fernando Alonso and back to the points. DRS open again. Porsche not catching Ocon quite yet, but he's staying with him, and that's what's important. Vettel getting past Norris. Come on, Lando, you've got to hold on to that place, bud, because if you don't, we are never ever going to get up to Alonso. That's just not going to happen. More power needed for all of us. Let's go to harvest mode, just because I feel like we can afford to charge the battery, and we should still stay with these guys. We'll get past them when we get past them, and then we should be able to just power our way back up to Seb, or past up to Alonso once we get past Seb, is what I'm trying to say. We should be all good. Basically, let's go to double speed, see if we make any inroads at all. I'm keeping an eye on Piastri, because he's the most likely to make a move, I think, in the near future. Porsche gets himself beautifully off that final corner and stays in DRS, stays within half a second. That's what we're looking to do. We're looking to keep Piastri within half a second of Stroll as well, so we'll keep this train rolling and just hope Lando, now he's ahead of the train, can start pulling away. We have also got Seb right in front of us now, so you know, we are very much gambling on we can get past Seb, we can keep up with Norris and Ocon, and hopefully we'll all just pull away. That's what we're really going for. So stay in the train, wait it out. We will get past Sebastian Vettel probably in a second under this DRS zone. That will be what you'd hope. A bit of a janky looking overtaking attempt, look, whatever that was. It did not make me feel less motion sick. I'll tell you that for nothing. Okay, let's go back to neutral now, just because we know we have the power to be able to sustain the pace over a lap, and we have enough to be able to fully discharge that ERS if we need to bridge a gap. Once we get past Seb, which Porsche should be doing off of this corner, should get the power down. Come on, bud, you can do this. You can do this. You can get yourself past Seb. He doesn't have that kind of pace. Come on, we've got to make this move work. I'm going to go to an overtake deploy for this next straight, because we're going to need that full power to get past Seb and just get ourselves on our merry way. Hopefully this will do the job. It looks like it has done, and we're going to go back to neutral and hopefully just keep ourselves back on the back of Ocon and Norris, who are hopefully going to start to pick up the pace a bit and get themselves on the back of Alonso. Looks like Norris is trying to make some inroads, but he's not quite there yet. Another car has gone wide. I'm not sure. This is a replay of the overtake on Vettel. I saw the highlight. I was like, oh, that's going to be the accident that's happened. And it was any of our drivers, so that's fine. But maybe it was the driver ahead. Good stuff. Right, who has dropped ridiculously down the order? That's the big question. No one obvious. No one obvious has fallen back. Vettel running wide was what that yellow flag was for. So we forced him wide to get past. That's absolutely normal. That's fine. Okay, so we're in 10th. It's a good place to be, and DRS Open should help us get towards the back of Ocon and Norris. I am very concerned we need to get past Ocon and Norris as fast as humanly possible here, because I think they're both holding us up. Piastri is having a go at the two Alpha Tauris, which is definitely a good thing. I think we'll give him the power of the overtake to coming off this corner, because we should be able to get both these Alpha Tauris fairly quickly if we deploy the overtake at the right time. And how Vettel's keeping ahead of Stroll on hard tyres, but that's life. It's not for me to make those judgments. We're going to get out the inside of Stroll, are we? Yes, we are. Look at Vettel now as well. Hopefully we'll get Vettel over the start-finish straight. Stroll coming back at us. DRS Open, we've used up all our battery. Did not time that well at all. And we now have to sit back and wait with Piastri, which is not ideal. I would be very much waiting for a safety car to come out right now, if I'm honest. Just trying to see where that up the road pack is. It looks like something's going on. Very close call with Seb. Hopefully Piastri can make something happen through this corner, because Vettel dropping like a stone, not really making the pace. Let's go into the double speed mode and see what we can do. DRS Open. Piastri needs to get his foot down rapidly, because this battle between the Alpha Tauris is just costing us time at this stage. Vettel dropping off the back of Porsche is not helping Piastri out whatsoever, and we're not getting past, which is the big headline. And Stroll is just in our way, because I feel like we'd have got Vettel by now if Stroll wasn't there. Right, DRS Open, let's see what we can do over the line, get ourselves as close as we possibly can. Is there a look for a 3 wide here? Probably not, but we're going to keep tight with them anyway. Piastri going to pull out wide. We have a look through these chicanes. We're not, because Stroll went for a look. Come on, Oscar. We've got to get through this. We've got to get past these guys very fast, or we're in trouble. Come on, DRS Open. We should both be able to get past Vettel here, really, but we're not going to do it, and it's just not coming in for us. It's not happening for us. Stroll is now clear of Vettel, which is a big concern all around, because as much as it stops him blocking our way past Vettel, it doesn't really bridge the gap very quickly. Stroll does seem to have the pace to get onto the back of Porsche, which tells you just how slow Ocon is. Norris has run wide somewhere, which has somehow put him ahead of Ocon. I don't know how that's worked. Crazy times up ahead. What are we doing, Oscar? Come on, let's overtake now. Let's make this happen here. That's what we're looking for. Get the big overtake button down, bud. DRS Open. Power past. Get yourself past Seb. Let's make this move happen. Let's make it stick. Let's not keep messing around trying to fight with Sebastian Vettel. Let's just get on the back of Stroll and get ourselves up into some more serious positions. We've got ourselves good traction off of that corner, going into the long double apex turn here. We should stay close to Stroll here. Us and Stroll should be able to pull away from Vettel. He should just hold up Danny Rick, which is fine. Porsche's lost a position somehow to Norris, or to Ocon. He was in a fight with Ocon and Norris. Right, let's keep an eye on what Teo Porcher is doing, because I feel like he's our next big move. We get past Ocon, and we start getting on the back of Alonso as we go for the overtake on Ocon. We'll see what the overtake on Norris looked like. It looks like we've just kind of followed Ocon through a little bit, but that's absolutely okay. That's fine. We've made that one stick. We have got ourselves past Ocon now. We are looking pretty good, all things considered. So, everything is coming up Millhouse. That's what we like to see. And Porsche now needs to get himself chasing down the back of Alonso. We do have the pace to catch Alonso. I have absolutely no doubt about that. We have the pace to catch Alonso. I think I'm going to do a deploy here, just to get ourselves as far from Lando as we can before the DRS zone, just because I'm very, very aware that he has the power in the DRS to make a real nuisance of himself, and we are needing to push onto the back of Alonso as fast as we can. So hopefully we'll have that kind of double benefit. Norris not being able to get DRS behind us will help us immensely. It looks like we've done everything we needed just to keep him at bay, and now we are pushing up onto the back of Alonso, which is what the ultimate game plan was all along. We'll check in on Piastri in a second because I need to get him past Lance Stroll, because that's not going very well for him at the moment, and he shouldn't really be in that position. Pourchaire needs to keep pushing. The trouble is that Alonso has DRS and Pourchaire now doesn't. So it's very much a case of what can we do through the corners to make up that gap, and what we can do through the corners is not a great deal. Right, let's see what's going on with Oscar Piastri, who does need to be making his way past Lance Stroll as quick as possible to get onto the back of Ocon. Otherwise, we are going to be in trouble again there, and we can't be a million miles away from a pit stop. Fastest lap for Pourchaire, beautiful stuff. That's what we were hoping for. That's points and fastest lap currently. Fastest lap, of course, not counting for points this season, but it's always nice to have just as something in the locker. Right, Piastri, you need to save up some ERS through this chicane, because we're going to go full deploy on the overtake to try and get past Lance Stroll coming through this DRS zone. We're going to try and get things done. Right, switch up to the overtake mode. Come on, Oscar, get yourself past Stroll. We can leave Stroll behind once we're past him, and we'll be home and dry. Let's not use all of our ERS right now. We're going to go for a deploy coming out of the next corner, because if we don't, we are going to just end up back in that same situation, and we can see Ocon and Norris battling ahead of us, which is something we definitely need to be focusing on to get ourselves away from Lance Stroll. 3 seconds behind those guys is not a great turnout for us. Pourchaire is making up some gap on Russell now, who has been overtaken by Fernando Alonso. That's pretty good, that's pretty strong. Hopefully that won't be the end of it. We'll go back to neutral with Piastri just to give him enough energy to get himself through a lap. Pourchaire currently just in a bit of a world of his own, not helping anyone at this point, so I think this is probably big zoom time, because Piastri should have enough gap on Stroll to keep him behind, although this straight is very long and the DRS is very, very effective down here, so maybe we're not fully home and dry yet. Maybe we're going to keep this battle going through, but hopefully we've got the pace to lead Stroll at least to Ocon, make a nuisance of him in that respect, and keep ourselves going. Let's speed things up, because I don't think it'll be long before Stroll is away and gone. Pourchaire is making inroads lap by lap, which is nice. He is slowly catching up with Fernando Alonso, which is ultimately what the goal was. Piastri is catching up with Norris. He is dragging Stroll into that fight, but that's not the worst thing in the world. If we can drag Stroll into this fight, we'll probably be in a better position to get past them. More people scrapping for the positions, the better, is sort of what I would say. Pourchaire still struggling to make up that gap to Alonso. So I was distracted by the yellow flag. I was going to get a safety car. Pit window open, a safety car right now would be an absolute banger for us. That would be a great result. But Piastri now is in the fight with Norris and Ocon, which is good. That's pretty tidy, and Norris and Ocon are going tooth and nail at it. Kind of found ourselves in the same situation we're in with the two Alpha Tauris. We've got two cars who have got fairly equal pace, battling each other, and not really leaving a lane for us to get past them, which is going to be a slight problem. But Pourchaire still struggling. I mean, the DRS is just not helping us at all, with Alonso and Russell being so close together. But we need to get something out of this race, and a point for Pourchaire would do the job. I think maybe there's an undercut needing to come in as well. I mean, I'm happy there's a big enough gap between our two drivers to bring them both in at once. That will help us immensely. I'm also very happy with the fact that once we get onto the hards, we are in that kind of 50-50 situation where if there is a safety car, we can probably get ourselves onto a set of medium at the end, as long as it's not immediate. So that will help us out. We're going to try and take this stint as long as we can. just because that's going to help us as well. I think what we're going to do is we're going to put Piastri on a saving of ERS just while we're waiting to get some clear air, or until we can give ourselves some clear air, because Piastri is definitely going to come in first of our two drivers looking at the tyre wear at the very least. So that's something to keep an eye out for as the battle continues between Ocon and Norris. We go around the outside, not quite getting there. Lap 20 in the books now, or we are on lap 20, I should say. 19 laps in the books. We are almost at half distance and looking pretty strong so far. So that is all good. All good so far. But we do need Piastri saving up the battery, staying in this fight. We're just going to get him past Ocon and Norris as fast as we can, whilst saving as much battery as we can, because if we can get past them before we pit, we'll be absolutely laughing, I think, in the grand scheme. If they pit before us, of course, we're in trouble. But also, we will have clear air with a car that is good enough to be ahead of them, essentially. So that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, thinking aloud. If they both came into the pits on this lap, sure, they'd get the undercut on us, but I think the clean air would do us a favour in the grand scheme of things. I think we'll probably unlock some pace that would, we're being held up a little bit. I think it would unlock a little bit of pace and get us a couple of good laps in, although that is, of course, also an argument for an undercut that I've just made with myself. Get the clear air and the pace. I'm not sure we would come out. We'd come out somewhere near last, but I think we'd be too close to the Astons to take advantage of it, which is obviously far from ideal. DRS will keep us in range though, which is good. Porsche is just kind of chilling on his own right now. So he's okay. He's doing us some favours, I suppose, just staying where he is. We'll be all good. Let's speed things up until we hit the actual pit window and we can get a better assessment of where we're at. Piastri has come in. Oh, sorry, Porsche has come. Where is? He's too close to the line to make that stick. But do you know what? I'm gonna try the overcut. That's my plan. We're gonna try and overcut all the drivers that have just come in. That's our plan. So Piastri, we're gonna go full overtake because we're gonna need that. We'll see if either of these cars ahead come in, Ocon or Norris. If they do, we're just gonna go full deploy for a lap. It should be fine. So Norris in. Good chance to deploy some ERS, get ourselves onto the back of Ocon, close that gap up, because we are in a good position. What are we doing for here? We'll go into a hard tyres. Good stuff. Good stuff. I just realised I contradicted myself, but it's fine. We don't want to let them have a 2-lap undercut. That's not going to work, and I think Piastri we're going to have to bring in as well. But like I said, they are far enough apart that it shouldn't make a lot of difference in terms of double stacking them. They're 5-6 seconds apart. Plenty of time to get the overcut done. Piastri, sector 3. Something's going on in sector 3. Is it going to lead to a safety car? It was Porsche locking, or someone locked up before Porsche, a competitor locked up. My English is terrible today. When you show locking up, this is less of a surprise than my English being bad. Okay, so let's get Piastri on to the back of our good friend, Mr. Ocon, and past him. Deploy. We have another yellow flag. I think that was probably one of the Alpha Tauris. Hamilton running wide. That's a rarity. That's a rarity indeed. Hamilton running wide. Okay, right, deploy. Get yourself as close to the back of Porsche as you can. You're not going to get close enough to be able to get affected by the double stack, but close enough to get yourself nearby would be good. That'd be a good look for us. Perez also making the pit stop as Sainz is going to go round, and we're doing okay. Let's see what everyone's tyres are saying. Russell's got to be coming in soon. We're going to undercut George Russell, which could be a very, very powerful strategy play if we can undercut George. That could be exactly what the doctor ordered. bunch of stuff going on in the pit lane, which tells me that Hamilton must be coming in. He's just come in. So George Russell will be in next lap. Okay, but Piastri doing his bit. Pourchaire out, Piastri in. That's worked out perfectly. When they were only about 3 seconds apart when that went off, they've got almost identical pit stop times. That's worked out quite well for us. And we're coming out how far behind Alonso? That's the next big question. How far behind Alonso are we? Let's get the tyres back down to a standard. Where? And 6.5 seconds still. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, we're going to go neutral with neutral on the ERS with Piastri. Jobs are good. Okay, we've made that work. Now we get into that kind of mid-section of the race. Russell comes in and we should come out somewhere near him. We've not come out anywhere near him, really. Okay, Magnussen has somehow found his way between us and Alonso. Because he's going long on that first stint where Vettel's up in 4th as well. I was a little bit confused then for a second, I won't lie. I was a bit confused, but we'll keep it going, keep it rolling, because our guys are good enough to get back close to the cars ahead. 12th and 13th now. Magnussen's had a spin, which has helped us out immensely. We've got the fastest lap with Piastri, which is beautiful. And like I said, we just keep rolling now. There are points on the card today. I can feel points coming because Vettel still needs to pit. There must be someone else that needs to pit. Bottas, Ocon, and Sainz all needing to pit. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 free positions. As things go, that could be okay. Although, let's be honest, Sainz has probably got a gap to drop into. It's quite tasty. In fact, Ocon might have a gap to drop into, but it's quite tasty. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. I was looking at the leader screen. Good stuff. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Leclerc takes the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, which is okay by me, because we need to focus on getting ourselves in the fight. Alonso has run wide. That's going to open up a possibility of catching him up, which is good. It's also Vettel has come out of the pit, I think, and come out of the pit. Oh, no, it's just Vettel coming out behind Alonso after his error as well. Okay, it's all good. We are sort of chasing a safety car at this point, but, you know, if it comes late enough to get ourselves on some of those beautiful, beautiful red sidewalled soft tyres, we might be okay. Verstappen takes the lead from Sainz there. Piastri is overtaking Gasly. We are making moves out on track right now, and only George Russell stands between us and the points, and George Russell is very close to Fernando Alonso. So it's not all bad. It's not all bad at all. We are still catching up. Gasly goes in for a pit stop. Piastri is slowly catching up with Pourchaire, and Pourchaire is now within DRS of George Russell, which is big headlines. Big headlines here. We've got the 2 Alpines really building a train behind them. 2 Alpines, 2 Mercs, 2 Williams. And if we can start making some moves here, Ocon's got to come in and release the pack sometime very soon anyway. So that will help. Shall we get Pourchaire on harvest, because he's got just enough gap ahead of Piastri that him going on harvest will keep him in DRS but give Piastri a chance to get in the DRS, at which point Piastri can also harvest and we can get ourselves, touch wood, ahead of a bunch of these guys ahead of us. That would be nice. Be very, very nice. There are about 20 laps to go, so we're still in this fight. Very much in the fight for top 5, top 6. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Right, let's keep going. Let's see what we can get out of this race. As things stand, we want no errors from Pourchaire or Piastri, because if they make mistakes, we are all in trouble. Piastri is going to get on the back of us as well, and then we'll start saving his ERS to get us through this train as well. And then we should be okay. DRS open for Pourchaire, DRS open for Piastri. We just have to make some moves happen. We're going to go harvest with both our drivers for a little while till we recharge the battery, because once we've recharged the battery, we're going to get ourselves past Ocon, Russell and Hamilton pretty quickly. I am actually just keeping an eye out for that Ocon pit stop. Once Ocon pits, he is holding us up and letting Alonso build a gap, unfortunately, but I do think we can get both our cars past both these Mercs as long as we have the battery for it when the jump time comes, we should be looking pretty special in the grand scheme of things. DRS open again. We're not going to lose any pace because Ocon is just holding everyone back, as Ocon tends to do. It's just not going well. We just need to get ourselves ahead of someone here, and we'll be laughing. But for now, we're just on a watching brief. No danger of Lando Norris catching up to us as well, which is nice. So the end of the DRS train is Piastri as things stand, and we're all saving some energy, which is even nicer. Russell and Hamilton are too busy battling each other to work together to get past Ocon, which is really frustrating. Talking of which, I looked at the patch notes from that came out of the new patch after I recorded the last episode, and you might remember we got overtaken under the safety car when we went on to Inters, which really screwed up our race. So it turns out that was something they patched out, as was the difficulty in passing cars who are on inappropriate tyres. If that patch had come out before I recorded that race, we'd have won it easily, which is not at all frustrating. It's very frustrating. Anyway, we are still ahead of Norris. We're still sat behind watching Hamilton and Ocon and Russell, although Ocon has now been passed by both Mercs, which means this is go time for us for sure. Once we get this ERS recharge out of this chicane, it's going to be go time. We are going to get ourselves past Ocon and just start making some moves. That's the plan. So let's get ourselves primed and ready with the overtakes, ready to go, everything looking good, and let's go. Let's get ourselves past Ocon under DRS, and we should be laughing. Piastri trying to make a move on Pourchaire, a little bit early there, bud. You've timed that a little bit early. Right, DRS open. Let's get the push. Big push past Ocon here. We're going to do it and get ourselves back onto the back of Hamilton as quickly as we can. That's our ultimate goal. We are staying in DRS range, which we will keep using the overtake button for now. Up into P8, back of the points. Piastri should be trying to make a move. We need to get Pourchaire away and clear to build that gap. We're going to do a deploy there. We're going to send Piastri back into neutral for a couple of laps, just to save that ERS up a little bit, because we're only going to get one driver past Ocon at a time, it seems, unless, of course, Ocon comes into the pitch right now, in which case we'll be free, clear, home and dry. Ocon's got to be just about due for a pit stop now, otherwise he's going on to softs, and he's going to be a pain in the arse at the end of the race. If he goes on to softs, he'll start making some ground very quickly. There's a big pack, big train behind Bottas that I think Ocon would come out in the middle of as we speak, and that's not good for him, really. But, you know, Ocon is probably a better passer than either of our drivers, so we won't give him too much stick for it. Let's see how Pourchaire is doing getting on the back of Russell and Hamilton. Hopefully pretty well. He should be able to get to close that gap a little bit. In fact, we'll go neutral for a little bit here, purely because I feel like Hamilton and Russell are fast enough to drag us up to Alonso. I think we're good enough to stay on neutral in their DRS, and we'll just let them slowly glide us up to the back of Fernando Alonso. That would be very helpful of them. That would be very helpful of them indeed. And Pourchaire is going to start closing that gap because they keep fighting for that position, which is okay. Right, Piastri, what are you doing, bud? Go and get yourself past. Right, overtake. You've got the gap coming out of this corner. You should be able to hit the overtake button. Get yourself past Ocon. He's not that good at defending. You've got a whole half a track there you could be using, and you've chosen not to. You're literally choosing to sit in 10th right now. I've given you full clearance to go full send, and you've chosen laziness. Okay, let's go back to neutral. We're not going to. Let's go harvest. I'll tell you when to use the overtake button, because apparently you can't figure that out. Stay up close is all you need to do right now. If Ocon comes in, we're going to be okay. He is coming in. Beautiful stuff. Okay, we'll go back to neutral then. And Ocon can be out of our way for the rest of the race, and we can start focusing on our own race, which is what's going to be really important now. We sit 8th and 9th. Pourchaire now trying to get himself into this battle with Hamilton. Russell is closing on Alonso, so we're all looking good there. And Ocon being in the pits means that if there is a safety car, we can drop Pourchaire and Piastri in behind the safety car and come out ahead of Bottas for some softs if a safety car comes up. There is a safety car window open, It's a good safety car window, and that's all we really need to know about as we come back onto this DRS straight. Pourchaire opens up the rear wing again. We're not going to push just yet because, like I said, I do want us to be catching up to Alonso, and we're getting there fast enough that I'm not stressing over it. We will catch Alonso. We won't catch Perez, but we will catch Alonso, and that's more points on the board in theory. And in theory is always better than in practice. That's just the rules. I don't make the rules. That is just the rules. Okay, let's go quick zoom faster because Piastri, now he's got some clear air, should be able to at least make a gap over Norris. And it's looking like he's trying to catch Pourchaire at least. We're not getting anywhere really with our gapping of the two Mercedes though. So I think we're going to go to harvest. We are getting to the back of Alonso as well, so we're in the mix. We're in the mix for more points. We're just not there quite yet. And now you can see Russell 2 seconds behind Alonso. Ricciardo's run wide. Piastri is doing some catching at some speed of Pourchaire. Pourchaire is now dropped out of the DRS zone, so we'll have to do a quick deploy just to get him back into that fight, which will be okay. We're not going to use all of the ERS, just what it takes to get ourselves back in the DRS zone. We could use all of the ERS, even if we wanted to. I don't think we could use all of the ERS on what's left of this lap. We're just trying to get ourselves closing that gap up to Lewis before we get to the start-finish line. Get DRS open, and we should be okay. That's what we're hoping for. Get this big push off of the line, get ourselves across the line, and there we go, back into neutral. We're okay. We've got the pace to keep matching our boys up top, and they have got the pace to sort of get themselves onto the back of Alonso, so we're not struggling just yet. I'm going to start making some big moves towards the end of the race, which is 10 laps to go. So I say towards the end of the race, but we are actually towards the end of the race now. And I feel like I need to pick my moment to get ourselves past Hamilton with Pourchaire at least. It does worry me a little bit. They're still fighting. There's not enough of a gap between them to slide a car into, and that bothers me. We need one of them to have some kind of wide, have a spin, anything of that nature. We need one of them just to lose it, really. Otherwise, I don't see where the overtake's coming. I really don't see where the overtake's coming. And it's not that we can't outpace them. I'm very confident we've got more pace than them in general. It's more that I'm concerned that we don't have the room to get around them. Let's try the overtake here. Big DRS straight. We should be able to get something out of this if we're lucky. Just a case of pushing up, and pushing up. Hopefully there's something to be had here. Pourchaire's quite sensible with his DRS. So I'm not worried about leaving it on overtake for a couple of corners, just while we see if we can get involved in this fight. I want to be within about a tenth of Hamilton by the time we get to that next DRS zone. That would be the ideal. If we can get within about a tenth or two, like we are right now, in fact, I think we'd be okay to get a pass done on Lewis. And once we get a pass done on Lewis, then we're okay. But of course, Lewis is going to be looking for a pass on George. So it could all go horribly wrong. Well, let's see. DRS is open. Pourchaire is not hitting the big pass button just yet, but honestly, I think coming out of the chicane at the end of here is the better place to do it, so maybe he's been smart with this. Lewis going for another look on George. We're going for the big push out of that corner. We can see Alonso getting slightly bigger in front of us as well, which is good. Pourchaire has not managed to find his way past either Merc, which is something I was hoping for. And we're just about kind of keeping up at this stage, just about keeping up with the Mercs, which, you know, it's easy to keep up with them, but passing them is a problem. And obviously, Hamilton, one of the best of all time, and Russell, the young pretender to the crown, it's not going to be easy to get past them. They know full well they can fly in formation here, and we can't get past them. And we're all just waiting for a lot of them to catch up to Alonso. So we're aiming to make a mistake battle a little bit too hard for a position that doesn't really matter. Get under the ERS now. Neutral is the way forward for the rest of the lap. Unfortunately, have we got the pace here? We've got the pace for Russell. We're going to go for the overtake on Hamilton as well. Pourchaire is getting impatient. He's gone for the pass on Russell, and he's sort of made it happen. He has made it happen. Has he got the pass on Hamilton to come? He has, because Hamilton has blocked Russell. Russell now trying to get up our inside. This could go either way here. We're going to go overtake out of this corner because there's no way they're getting away from us. We've had a sniff now. We've got up the inside of both of the Mercs. Let's get the power down and get ourselves back in this fight. Get ourselves back in the game because we are very much involved in the battle for sixth right now as Russell goes past Hamilton on the outside. This battle is getting tasty. Come out of here. We should be able to get a good launch and maybe get ourselves onto the back of Lewis. We're going to go back to neutrals again, but hopefully we've got the overspeed a little bit. Can we go up the inside? We can't quite make it up the inside. Lewis has got that covered. He'll have it covered up the inside here as well because he's not really trying to do anything but stay on the back of George Russell at this point. And Russell, now he's got the hurry up and the scare of us passing him, has decided to start chasing down Fernando. We've given him enough of a scare to get us back in the battle. And that's sort of where we needed to be at. Where are we at on tyres in terms of the curve? We're a little bit below, but we shouldn't go in too low. Being in a battle hasn't helped us immensely with that, it's got to be said. I feel like Piastri is not going to get his hard to the end, which is probably a mistake on his part. But also what Piastri does. So, you know, it will be what it be. We are inside a second of Hamilton still. We're going to try and speed things up a little bit because I do feel like we're getting dropped a tiny bit because they've stopped fighting. They've started fighting again. Good stuff, but they've been dropped. They've started fighting and dropped back off Alonso, which is not what any of us wanted to see. We are out of the excess fuel, so we've now not a fuel advantage, or a fuel disadvantage at least. We're just going to try and make this work to the end now. We should have everything we need to keep this going. And stay in touch with the Mercs, you'd hope. You'd hope we can stay in touch with the Mercs. Let's just keep the faith. Keep the faith a little bit. Where are we at in terms of 4 laps left? I mean, I'm looking. I don't think we're going to be able to push any harder on the tyres. We're just having to make the best of what we've got now. We're looking for a mistake, any kind of opening here from Russell and Hamilton. They need to keep fighting, and we need to get lucky. It's sort of where we're at. There's a battle going on between Sainz and Leclerc at the top of the order. Can I show you that? Because that's probably more exciting what we've got going on. It is a bit more exciting what we've got going on. Let's have a look at it. From the off-board camera, Sainz and Verstappen just ahead of Leclerc and Perez. That's a pretty strong-looking battle. These guys could battle all the way to the end here. We don't do much riding on board with the leaders unless we are the leaders. We're doing okay here. We're not looking too shabby. I just want to see where everyone else is at with tyres. Trying to make tyres go to the ends. Piastri could be in trouble. Bottas could catch him. Porsche also in a little bit of trouble with tyres because we've been riding in that dirty air, I guess, for so long. It's not really helped matters out. I guess I could have saved the tyres a little bit better if I thought about it, but, you know, hindsight 2020 and all that. The battle, though, the big battle, Verstappen and Sainz for the win. Sainz with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix thus far. Porsche currently just trying to ride it home for our point is sort of what's happening, and his tyres are going significantly. I think we're actually just going to go full attack with our tyres on both our cars, because there's 2 laps to go. What's the worst that can happen? We might as well just keep pushing them as best we can. Try and get what we can out of them. So, nothing exciting happening here. Verstappen is going to go for a look at the inside here. He could have gone for the overtake up the inside there and didn't. Which is a bold move by Verstappen. I think I would have gone for it there. Just with 2 laps to go. Maybe he's trying the old trick about trying to get it in the last DRS zone so there's no comeback. He should be smart enough to pull that off, but obviously we don't know what the AI thinks like in this game, so I can't speak for it. Let's go back to our cars, because that's going to be more important for the story we're trying to tell here. We're going to go back on board, because that's always good. Back on board with Piastri and Porsche, because we're going to get Porsche back in this battle somehow. I think we're going to go for a full deploy every opportunity we get here, just because I want to get us as close to the back of Hamilton and Russell in case they make a mistake as possible. And I feel like that's our only chance of doing it, is if we just burn some ERS now. I mean, there should be enough to burn one on the last lap now. Sainz still leading from Leclerc, which is pretty good. We're going to use deploy where we can, use the fuel where we can, get Pourchaire into that little DRS window. We've got Pourchaire back into the window. That's good. Back into the window he goes, and we still have a little bit of what it takes to get ourselves up there. I don't know why I'm doing that, because we can just deploy everything as soon as we get it. That's what we're looking for. Just deploy it as we get it. Deploy it as we get it, boys. We're going to try and get ourselves deep into this battle with the two Mercs. There may still be a way past Hamilton or Russell. It's not completely out of the realms of possibility, and we're on the last lap of the Grand Prix. So we're going to be very, very danger close on fuel, but I'm keeping an eye on that. I'm keeping an eye on the fuel. The tyres are gone. The tyres were never going to make it to the end, so we've sacrificed the tyres. Pourchaire now just trying to push to get him onto the back of Hamilton. DRS open. What can he do from here? Can he get himself back in the fight? That's the big question. Couple more corners to go, so if he's going to get himself back in the fight, it has to be soon. We're close enough to smell the gearbox fluid, but we're not close enough to make the pass as we come out of that into the final big straight of the lap. And we're 3/10 behind. If we're going to go for a bold move, it'll have to be very, very soon. And I don't know if we're going to go for it. Pourchaire does look like he's trying to line up a pass on Hamilton. He looks like he's feeling it. I just don't know if he's got the car under him to do it. And I can't really spare you any more fuel, bud. You're barely making it to the line as it is. So, there's that. Piastri has had a wide as well. So that's not helped him with his situation. I don't know why he went to defend rather than anything else. But such is life. Either way, we've made it to the line. We are within a second of Lewis. Just about. And that's all she wrote. 8th place. 8th place for Williams with Pourchaire, 9th with Piastri. Sainz wins it from Charles Leclerc, from Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc from Perez, Alonso, Russell, Hamilton and Pourchaire the points. And bit of a disappointing day for Valtteri Bottas. He's not finished ahead of Pourchaire this time, which is nice. For Pourchaire, above all else. Let's be honest, it's nice for Pourchaire above all else. We'll see how the garage react to this. They should be fairly happy we've got points. I'm fairly happy we've got points. I'm not as happy with keep throwing the padding around. That's not great. That's expensive, but that's money I have to spend. Please don't do that. The boys look okay. The boys look fairly happy in the garage, and even happier outside the garage. Good stuff. Good stuff. We're in the points and 4th in the constructors. Beautiful stuff, and we're going to Hungary next time around. Great stuff. Okay, so let's wrap things up here because this is going to be a long episode again, and we don't want that. So, confirmation: Sainz, Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Alonso, Russell, Hamilton, and Pourchaire, the points winners. Piastri unlucky to miss out, but again, I think if I hadn't screwed up qualifying, we'd have more points. So there is that. Piastri stays in 6th place in the Drivers' Championship. Pourchaire moves up to 11th with that point, leapfrogging Lando Norris. Pourchaire about to get himself ahead of Bottas maybe after this race. Who knows? 5 points for Mercedes gained those. They're 4 points further ahead of us. Alpine gained 4 to make up 3 on us. And we remain in 4th on 37 points, which is not quite the one. We should hopefully get development points for our drivers, which is good, because they'll be faster next time out. Are we going to get any for Davy Schumacher? Not quite yet, but that's fine. We will make use of that in just a second, just so I can be absolutely certain I remember to do it. Because if I didn't remember to do it, we'd be all at sea, and that's not what we're aiming for here in any way, shape or form. Right. Heading back to the garage in Grove, heading back to HQ, and we'll stick those points on Piastri and Pourchaire. So Piastri, I think maybe, buddy, we need to start thinking about that smoothness, because you're not great at your tyres. Pourchaire, I think we're looking more at reactions, I think could be better for him. David Schumacher's picked up nothing. Let's see what the staff are saying. Anyone gained anything there? They haven't. Okay, so Hungary comes pretty much right after France, so that's the last race before the summer break. which is good for us because I do think we need the reset. We'll see what's coming in terms of new parts down the line. We're going to get a new chassis on board for Hungary, which is good because the chassis is a speed part and Hungary is famed for being a power track, so that'll work out nicely. Okay, so we're going to come back for that with the new chassis and all that good stuff in Hungary, ready for further things to happen, and then we'll be getting our underfloor, and I think our rear wing will both come in before we get to Belgium, which is good because then we'll have even more power on the car, and those are things we like. So, anyways, thanks for watching. I've always been Chasing Lamey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave the comments, all that good stuff. Share with your friends. If you're on Twitter, I'm at Chasing Lamey. Come say hi. And until next time, thank you for watching. I'll see you all very soon. Have a good one.